her kid is like 3, is being kind of a, making faces and telling her to shut up and everything. And I thought it would help Chris so much if she slapped the kid. Because on national TV, that would be the slapper around the world, and his would be second now. Because his is the one that everyone kind of remembers, but he would love to get that off the books.
When Chris Rock got slapped, none of us really saw it coming. Heck, even the guy himself didn't think something like that could happen. Some say that he was so shocked, he literally couldn't say anything for the longest time. But while Chris Rock maintained his silence for around a year, his celebrity friends weren't so kind to Will Smith. Many of Rock's friends came forward, but David Spade was one of the few that stood out. He had spoken on the topic several times since the incident happened early last year. But now he's spilled the deets on how he really felt towards Will. And let me tell you, he chose violence. As always, before we get into it, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep you in the loop. All of our content is free, so any support goes a long way, no matter how big or small. Since they're good friends, it was understandable that David was going to stand up for Chris in the entire Slapgate drama. After all, isn't that what friends are supposed to do? And that's exactly what he did. When the whole slapping incident happened, David Spade came as a guest on a podcast with Mike Tyson, where he told the world exactly what he thought about the whole situation. He said that
we were watching this Kate Middleton,
and a clip where her child is seen misbehaving. The first thing that came in David's mind was that
because on national TV, that would be the slapper around the world, and his would be second now.
Maybe. Of course, that never really happened. He said
her kid is like 3, is being kind of a, making faces and telling her to shut up and everything. And I thought it would help Chris so much if she slapped the kid.
On a more serious note, David talked about how he thought it was amazing that Chris managed to stay quiet on the subject for so long. He said,
Rock, I think, was probably shocked, thinking Will was going up to do a joke or something, or to like, hey, not my wife, whatever. Yeah. You definitely don't think the guy's coming up to hit you.
According to Spade, another reason why he didn't speak out immediately or sue him was because
I don't think he wants to feel like you're ratting someone out.
But Mike Tyson piped up.
He doesn't even have to sue Will. He can just sue the organization for not protecting
Academy.
him. Yeah.
And to that, Spade agreed.
Yeah, they didn't seem to do a whole hell of a lot about it. I mean, I had heard they went up and asked Will Smith if he wanted to leave, and he said no. And they said, okay. And I'm like, right there's a problem. Because anywhere else you hit someone, even if you're on The Bachelor and you hit someone, I'm sure they yank you off the island, So there's definitely something happens.
But from the Academy, nothing. And that wasn't the only time David expressed his annoyance over the whole thing. He's got some interesting takes on cancel culture in the comedy world. During the recent interview with Mike Tyson, Spade opened up about the challenges that comedians face these days when it comes to navigating comedy in the age of cancel culture. When asked how he deals with it all, Spade said,
it's a tough drill to... I'm not really the kind that starts a lot of shit, in my stand-up.
Referring to the fact that cancel culture can often result in comedians being publicly criticized for something they've said, even in the name of humor. Spade went on to explain that the goal of comedy used to be about pushing boundaries and making people laugh.
But yeah, I think you had Bill Burr on here. I think he's great. Bill's a cool dude, and he pushes stuff, he offends people. And that was really the idea when I got into it. You want to push it a little bit, you want to get people laughing, you want to hit them with the element of surprise.
I like that.
That was the old goal.
But nowadays, with cancel culture being such a hot topic, the comedy landscape has changed.
It's very hard for me to understand that people would want to do that to other people. And I know you get offended, I know you're hurt or whatever, but really taking people down, there's some thirst for it. It's hard because people have families and lives, and in the comedy world, you're really ultimately, there's no malice behind it. You're just trying to get a laugh.
It seems like Spade is just trying to keep things lighthearted and fun, while also acknowledging the seriousness of cancel culture. He even suggests that perhaps people are taking things a little too seriously, especially when it comes to Chris Rock's recent controversy. According to Spade, Rock was just trying to get a laugh, and people got a little too serious about it all. And while Mike Tyson agreed with everything that David said, he also expressed his opinions later on another episode. He was asked on one of his podcasts by a guest that if he was on that stage joking about Will Smith's wife, does he think Will would have come at him? And to that, Mike very diplomatically said,
Well, I wouldn't be talking about his wife.
Yeah.
No, so he wouldn't hit me, no.
He also said he would knock out or even kill Chris if he had the chance. But he wouldn't get up from his seat in the first place. They also talked about how often the quietest person in the room is the craziest and scariest, which is why they were surprised Will did something like that. So Spade supporting Brock like this shouldn't have been a surprise considering how they are the greatest of buddies. These two have been tight for years. Their friendship goes way back, and they've starred in some of the same movies together. Rumor has it that these two are practically inseparable. They've been seen hitting up all the hottest spots in town together, from trendy restaurants to exclusive clubs, and apparently it's just a given that when Chris and David are together, they know how to have a good time. But there's more to this friendship than just partying. They've been there for each other through thick and thin, and they've always had each other's backs. These two comedy legends have shared the screen on more than one occasion, and their on-screen chemistry is undeniable. Back in 2001, they starred together in the comedy Joe Dirt, the movie cult classic. And Chris and David's performances were a big part as to why it was so funny. They played off each other perfectly, and their banter, thing of beauty. Then, in 2010, Chris and David teamed up again for the movie Grown Ups. The film was a huge success. In it, they play childhood friends who reunite as adults and reminisce about their old times together. Fast forward almost 10 years later, Chris and David starred in the Netflix movie The Week Of in 2018. The movie was directed by their good friend and fellow comedian Robert Smigel. It was a heartwarming comedy that showcased their talents and made fans fall in love with them all over again. I mean, look at the history. Chris Rock and David Spade have worked together, and time again, they've created comedic gold on screen. They're a dynamic duo that never failed to deliver the laughs. And since all of them, including Mike Tyson, have such a long history, the topic was bound to come up again. Just recently, Tyson talked about the whole incident when he was being interviewed by Jimmy Kimmel. During his recent appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Tyson was asked if he saw the now infamous slap heard around the world. Tyson confirmed that he did indeed see it, and he had some interesting thoughts on the matter. Now remember, Tyson, former boxer and known for a pretty aggressive nature, it really didn't come as a surprise that he wasn't too bothered by the incident. He even said that if Will Smith felt it was necessary to slap Chris Rock, he's not shocked by it. And let's be real, Tyson, no stranger to shocking moments. This is the man who bit off a piece of Evander Holyfield's ear during a boxing match. Kimmel even brought up the incident, saying that it was the last time he was shocked during a live broadcast event. But despite his own history of violence, Tyson did acknowledge that the incident between Smith and Rock was a bit of a shock to some other people. However, he also pointed out that he's had his fair share of scuffles outside the ring, including a recent incident where he beat up a young man on a plane who was repeatedly harassing him while visibly drunk. Safe to say, Tyson is probably not the type to clutch his pearls over a little slap between two Hollywood stars. But hey, we love him for keeping it real and giving us unfiltered thoughts on the whole thing. What do you think of the entire scenario? Comment down below and let us know. And if you like this video, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be the first to see my next video. I post updates like this every week, where I uncover the secrets of your favorite celebrities.